What's up, everybody? Jared Sandler here with our spring training update for Wednesday, March the 10th. The Rangers rout the Mariners. I got to get the final score, 17-5 in 7 innings. The wind was blowing out at Peoria Sports Complex, but the wind was blowing out for both teams. So the Rangers had a nice offensive showing. The highlights, Jason Martin, guy who probably is not going to make the big league team, but 25 years old. The Rangers acquired him this offseason. Maybe he provides some depth in AAA. Hit a couple of home runs, including one that was just an absolutely pulverized ball. Jose Trevino had a home run. The Rangers had a couple of hits from Nate Lowe, Eli White with a home run. Curtis Terry late in the game had a ball off the wall. So, and Adolis Garcia with a home run as well. So the Rangers had a nice showing offensively, lots of offense to go around. And then on the mound, Jarrell Cotton got the start. Better outing today than his last one. I think what stood out to me, 3 young guys. Alex Speeds hitting 100 miles an hour, and Chris Woodward afterwards saying it's the easiest 100 that he's seen. And he's talking about just the ease of the delivery to get 100 miles an hour out of that arm. He's a young guy who, if he throws strikes or if he's able to develop better command of his stuff, then he's got a big league relief future ahead of him. Hans Kraus, one of the young prospects for the Rangers, had a rough first big league camp outing, gave up that home run to Shohei Ohtani. Was really good, a perfect inning with a couple of strikeouts. And then a guy who's got a legitimate shot to make the team out of camp, Brett DeGus. The Rule 5 acquisition had a scoreless inning, and he's looked pretty good this spring. He has yet to allow a run. So Brett DeGus is certainly putting himself in a strong position to make the ball club, especially in light of Jonathan Hernandez's absence to begin the season due to the injury that we shared with you yesterday. I think tomorrow I want to go into a little bit of a deep Joey Gallo dive and some of the changes he's made. But what I want to do now is discuss a few things regarding how to gauge spring training results and individual performances, because Nate Lowe had a couple of hits today. All right. He, like a couple of days ago, was the subject of some, I think, intelligent baseball people suggesting that, he shouldn't be or wasn't going to be or isn't going to be the opening day first baseman, which, by the way, he might not be. I still think he will be, and I'm not wavering too much off of that stance, but he might not be. But what I do know is that a week into Cactus League games is not at all the time to make that type of a declaration for Nate Lowe or for anyone. Nate Lowe, of course, competing with Ronald Guzman for the first base job. But here's the thing. Even an entire Cactus or Grapefruit League schedule of results might mean absolutely nothing. I mean, there are countless examples in every organization, cautionary tales, if you will, of guys who once, twice, thrice dominate spring training, and it just never translates. I mean, remember when Michael Choice hit like a million? Had a batting average of 1 million in spring training, and then, came nowhere close to that, in the regular season. And everyone was fired up. We were all excited about Michael Choice. It never materialized in anything. Rougned Odor has had a lot of successful spring trainings. Hasn't really, translated from a consistency standpoint. So I want to discuss some of the reasons why and things you can look for here. So first of all, rule number 1, don't make any definitive declarations based on spring training stats after a week. And if you choose not to make any definitive declarations after 4 weeks, that's fine too. Sometimes they're warranted, other times not worth it. Because again, it's so tough to know. Here are a few reasons why, and we've talked about this, but in case you've missed it. 1, especially early on, pitchers are not pitching to a scouting report. If Joe Bob is facing me and he knows that I suck at, hitting breaking balls or whatever, he's not necessarily just going to pound me with breaking balls. If it's his first, second, third outing, he's probably working on something. Maybe he just wants to establish fastball command. Maybe he wants to work on this pitch that he might not throw a lot during the season, but he's trying to figure out whether or not it's developed enough to where he can throw it. All right, that's one thing. 2, you have no idea who these guys are getting these stats off of. All right, the total spring training stat sheet doesn't discriminate. It doesn't, it italicizes the home runs you hit off of a guy who'll maybe not even sniff Double-A this year, or certainly won't sniff Triple-A, versus the home runs you hit off of Walker Buehler, for instance. I mean, it's just, today, for instance, the Rangers threw 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, by my estimation, who won't even be considerations for the major leagues this year. And that's not unique to the Rangers. Every team's got, a cadre of pitchers who, or hitters who, are not of that caliber. So when, Joe Bob McGee on the mound has a 1, 2, 3 inning against, Double-A Steve, Double-A Joe, and Double-A Trevor, it's not as impressive as when, some other guy has a 1, 2, 3 inning against Betts, Seager, and Turner. It's just, but the overall stats don't show that picture. They don't paint that picture. So it's just so tough to really know. A veteran like Joey Gallo, he's not fighting for a job. He's earned a job. So maybe he's tinkering with stuff more now than the regular season. And I don't think that's the case with Joey, but I'm just using him as an example. How about Corey Kluber? All right, former Ranger Corey Kluber. He's not, now this year maybe coming off injury in now, 2 straight years, maybe he's taking spring training a little more seriously, but maybe a better example, Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole's probably working on stuff all spring. If Garrett Cole has a 7 ERA at the end of Grapefruit League action for the Yankees, who cares? The things that you look for are physical changes, or things that a player is doing that they've never really done before. So a physical change can be, the physical shape of a player. Maybe a guy has gotten bigger. They've gotten more jacked. They've put on weight. I remember, and it didn't end up panning out for this guy at all, but Ryan Rua came to camp one year just way bigger, put on muscle, hit the weight room. We thought, man, maybe there's something there. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. Sometimes a guy's lost weight. Remember when Matt Harrison lost weight? And the thought is, hey, he's in better shape. Vlad Guerrero Jr., that's significant. He shed, was it 30, 40 pounds? And that was a big challenge for him. Was, people thought that he was, too out of shape to really take full advantage of his ability. The other thing is, like a guy like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa last year, in all of the spring trainings and minor league games and major league games Isaiah Kiner-Falefa had played leading up to spring training last year, you never saw him drive the ball with authority, with any degree of consistency. Didn't matter, again, exhibition, game that counted, what level. And then last year in spring training, he was hitting the ball with a degree of authority that we had never seen before. That's noticeable. All right, that's interesting. Joey Gallo having 5 home runs so far is great, and that maybe shows that there's an extra focus, but he's not doing anything we haven't seen him do before, right? Rougned Odor has, if he hits 320 and this spring and has 4 home runs, I mean, it's nothing that we really haven't seen him do before. If he's consistently laying off breaking balls from lefties or righties in the dirt and not chasing the elevated fastball consistently, all right, that's worth noting. He's still got to do it when it counts. Same with any of these guys, but those are the things that I look for when I'm trying to notice a tangible difference. Mike Foltynewicz, velocity's back. That's something you can take away because it has no significance as to who's in the box. All right, it doesn't matter if he's facing Corey Seager or some putz for the Dodgers who, barely makes their Double-A roster. If he's throwing 97, he's throwing 97. If he's throwing 96, he's throwing 96. It's a big improvement from the 90 to 92 he was throwing last year. That stuff matters. That's the stuff I look for. And those are the things that more often than not might tell a story as opposed to someone's spring training stats over the course of a week. Maybe you think Ronald Guzman should start over Nate Lowe. It's a fair opinion, but that opinion should not be altered based on 1 week's worth of Cactus League matchups. By the way, Ronald Guzman yesterday, when he faced a lefty twice, looked overmatched. That's something he's trying to work on. So that's something to follow if he gets more chances versus lefties. Nate Lowe seems like he's starting to get things going. Was never really a concern because, again, first week of spring training, second week of spring training, maybe even the third and fourth week of spring training for certain guys. It's just so tough to know what the results mean. There you go. All right. A little more of a dive into Joey Gallo tomorrow. I hope everyone's having a great day.